Good morning all. Myself Priyanka, Senior Assistant Professor BBDU Lucknow. Today we will discuss about GMP requirements for premises and materials part 2. So let us start our topic. Firstly, we will see about manufacturing operations and control. So all manufacturing operations must be carried out under the supervision of technical staff approved by licensing authority. The next point is each critical step in the process like weighing and measuring of raw material addition must be performed by trained personnel under the direct supervision of approved technical staff. So, from these 2 points, we can see that all manufacturing processes must be carried out under supervision of technical staff. The role of technical staff is very important during manufacturing process. The next point is the contents of all vessels and containers used in manufacture and storage must be conspicuously labeled. And what does this label contain? This label contains the name of the product, batch number, batch size and stage of manufacture. So let us see more about manufacturing operations and control. So let us discuss about precautions against mix-up and cross-contamination. The first point is the licensee must prevent mix-up and cross-contamination of drug material by proper air handling system, pressure differential, segregation, status labeling and cleaning. So, to prevent mix-up and cross-contamination, isolation is important, air handling system is important, labeling is important, cleaning is important and pressure differential is also important. So, what is pressure differential? Pressure differential is the difference between the atmospheric pressure of one area and that of its surrounding. Pharmaceutical companies must maintain a pressure differential of 10 to 15 pascals between the manufacturing area and the normal pressure of its surrounding. The HVAC system is responsible for creating this increased pressure. The next point is the licensee must ensure processing of sensitive drugs like beta-lactam antibiotics, sex hormones and cytotoxic substances in isolated areas with independent air handling unit and proper pressure differentials, as we have discussed above about pressure differentials. Now come to next slide. To prevent mix-ups during production stages, materials under process must be conspicuously labeled to demonstrate their status. All equipment used for production must be labeled with their current status. That there must be a label on all equipment about their calibration, whether they are calibrated or not, and what is happening in that equipment. This must be conspicuously labeled. Next point is packaging lines must be independent and adequately separated. It must be ensured that all leftovers of the previous packaging operations like labels, cartons, caps are cleared before the closing hour so that we can start our work with freshly on a new day. So all these things must be cleared before the closing hour. Let us see more points about manufacturing operations and control. Before packaging operations are begun, steps should be taken to ensure that work area, packaging lines, printing machines, and other equipment are clean and free from any products, materials, and spillage. The line clearance should be performed according to an approximate checklist and recorded. Why we are doing these much things, that we are clearing our old cartons before the closing hour, and then we are ensuring that the work area, printing machines, and other equipments are clean and free from any products, just to avoid contamination and cross contamination, because contamination and cross contamination can adversely affect the quality of product. That's why we are doing that much checks. The correct next point is the correct details of any printing done separately or in the course of packing should be rechecked at regular intervals. All printing and overprinting must be authorized in writing. So the details of printing must be checked at regular interval, because there may be chances that some misprinting may be done. So to avoid this, regular checks may be done, and all printing and overprinting must be authorized, and this authorization is in writing. Now come to our next slide. Let us see more points about manufacturing operations and control. So the manufacturing environment must be maintained at the required levels of temperature, humidity, and cleanliness. Next point is authorized persons must ensure change over into specific uniforms before undertaking any manufacturing operations, including packaging. And the next point is there must be isolated secured areas for recalled or rejected material and for such material which are to be reprocessed or recovered. So the authorized person must ensure that the person involved in manufacturing operations must wear specified uniform, and rejected and recalled materials, reprocessed and recovered materials must be segregated, and there must be required levels of temperature, humidity, and cleanliness. Now come to sanitation in the manufacturing premises. So let us discuss about the GMP requirements for sanitation in manufacturing premises. The manufacturing premises must be cleaned and maintained in an orderly manner so that it is free from accumulated waste, dust, debris, and other similar material. A validated cleaning procedure must be maintained. The manufacturing areas must not be used for storage of materials except for the materials being processed. So, what are the points in sanitation? That the manufacturing premises must be cleaned and it is free from waste, dust, and debris, and it is not used for storage of materials, and it should not be used as a general thoroughfare that we can put anything in our manufacturing area. It is just reserved for what is required, what material is required for that area. Now come to our next slide. A routine sanitation program must be drawn and it must be properly recorded. And what this routine sanitation program indicate? This indicate specific areas to be cleaned and cleaning intervals. So these things must be in written, that what specific areas we have to clean, what is the cleaning interval, cleaning procedure to be followed, including equipment and materials to be used for cleaning, and it should also include the name of person responsible for the cleaning operation. The next point is the adequacy of the working and in-process storage space must permit the orderly and logical positioning of equipment. So, what this we have discussed about this in our previous slide, that the storage space must be adequate so that contamination and cross contamination can be avoided. Now come to our next slide. Let us see about raw materials. So what are the requirements, GMP requirements of raw material? The licensee must keep an inventory of all raw materials to be used at any stage of manufactures of drug and maintain records as per Schedule U of Drug and Cosmetics Act. Schedule U of Drug and Cosmetics Act is divided into Schedule U1, which include particulars to be shown in manufacturing records, and Schedule U2, that is records of raw materials. So the licensee must keep records as per Schedule U. Next point is the incoming materials must be quarantined immediately after receipt or processing. The quarantine of incoming material is very important. All materials must be stored under appropriate conditions and in an orderly fashion to permit batch isolation and stock rotation by a first in, first expiry, first out principle. So what we have to do, we just follow the principle of first in, first expiry. The material that comes first and that may expire first must go out first. So that principle must be followed. First in, first expiry. So first out principle must be followed for raw materials. Next is all incoming materials must be checked to ensure that the consignment corresponds to the order placed. When any consignment come, it should be checked by the authorized person so to ensure that the product that is dispatched is that product that we require. So it should be checked properly. So what we see in this slide, that the inventory must be maintained according to Schedule U, and stock rotation must be followed, and batch must be separated according to first in, first expiry and first out principle, and all consignments must be checked when it reaches the laboratory. Now come to next slide. All incoming materials must be purchased from approved sources under valid purchase vouchers. Wherever possible, raw materials should be purchased directly from the producers. Why raw materials should be purchased directly from the producers? Because if we purchase it from some third party, then the cost will be increased and also the chances of contamination will be increased. So the raw materials should be purchased directly from producer, and we must maintain valid purchase voucher. Next point is authorized staff appointed by the licensee, and which may be the person from quality control department, must examine each consignment on receipt and should check each container for integrity of package and seal. So whenever a consignment comes, the quality control personnel go to check whether the integrity of package and seal is maintained or not. And if the integrity is not maintained, it should be identified, recorded and segregated. Now come to our next slide. If a single delivery of material is made up of different batches, each batch must be considered as a separate batch for sampling, testing and release. So suppose if a single material comes and it consists of different batches, so we consider it as different batch and not as a single batch, and we do sampling for each batch and we do testing, sampling for each batches. Next point is raw materials in the storage area must be appropriately labeled. So we can see from our previous 2 to 3 slides that labeling is very important. Everything should be labeled very properly. Otherwise there are chances of contamination, cross contamination. There may be chances that wrong product can be manufactured. So labels must be clearly marked. The labels of raw material must be marked with the following information. What are these informations? Firstly, designated name of the product, internal code reference. Next is manufacturer's name, address and batch number. Next is the status of the content. What is the status of the content? Like it is whether it is quarantine, it is under test, it is released, it is approved or it is rejected. And the last is the manufacturing date, expiry date and retest date. So the label of raw materials must contain all these things: name of the product, manufacturer's name, address and batch number, status of the content and manufacturing date, expiry date and the retesting date. Now come to next slide. There must be adequate separate areas for materials under test, approved and rejected, with arrangements and equipments to allow dry, clean and orderly placement of stored materials and products wherever necessary under controlled temperature and humidity. So a proper space should be present. All materials should not be kept in one place. The materials should be separated and it should be marked like it is test material, it is approved material and it is rejected material, and all these materials must be isolated from each other so that the time of analyst and production person is not wasted. Next point is containers from which samples have been drawn shall be identified. Next point is only raw materials released by quality control department and which are within their shelf life must be used. So the production department person must take care that they must use only that raw material for production which is approved and released by quality control department, and also it is not a expired product, it is within the shelf life. And next point 8, it must be ensured that all the containers of raw materials are placed on raised platforms, racks, and not on floor. Why not on floor? Because there may be chances that on the floor they may attain moisture on their surface, and and there are chances of contamination. So the all raw materials must be placed on raised platforms or racks. Now come to the GMP requirements of equipment. So what are the GMP requirements of equipment? The layout and design of equipment must aim to minimize the risk of errors and permit effective cleaning and maintenance in order to avoid contamination, buildup of dust, or any adverse effect on the quality of product. Each equipment should be provided with a logbook. Next point is balances and other measuring equipment of an appropriate range, accuracy and precision must be available in the raw material stores, production and in-process control operations, and these must be calibrated and checked on a scheduled basis. So what are the points in equipment? The point is the layout and design of equipment must avoid buildup of dust or dirt, because dust or dirt adversely affect quality of product, and there must be a logbook with each equipment, and all balances must be calibrated and checked on a scheduled basis. Now come to our next slide. The parts of the production equipment that come into contact with the product must not be reactive, additive or adsorptive. So the equipment part that is coming in contact with the product must not be reactive, because if it reacts with the product, it may form some other product, so the quality of the product may be affected. Some other product is formed, the product may be oxidized, the product may be degraded, so the product quality is not maintained. So GMP requirements, as you all know, focus on the quality of products. So this is the requirement for equipment. Next is to avoid accidental contamination. Non-toxic edible grade lubricants must be used with the equipment. There may be chances, although we take all our care, but there may be accidental contamination chances always present. So for that case, we must use edible grade lubricant. So if accidentally contamination happens, our product will not become toxic. Only its quality will be altered, but the product is not toxic, because toxic product is very harmful to consumer. So that's why we are using toxic edible grade lubricants. Next is defective equipment must be removed from production area, because the person must confused if it is not removed, and the time of the person must be wasted. So it must be removed from production area, and it should be appropriately labeled. Now come to documentation and records. So the aim of documentation and records, firstly I just like to say that documentation and record is very important, because what we are doing, if we are not documenting and recording, then we can't remember what we have done, and other person can't recognize what already is happens in that equipment, and what already uh, production process that have been completed. So documentation and record is very important part in quality control laboratory in production area. So let us see the GMP requirements of documentation and records. The aim is to define the specifications for all materials. The aim of documentation and record is given. Its aim is to define the specifications for all materials, method of manufacture and control, to ensure that all personnel concerned with manufacture know the information necessary to decide whether or not to release a batch of a drug for sale, and to provide an audit trail that permit investigation of the history of any suspected defective batch. So the documentation also give information about the previous defective batch, so that any new person cannot accidentally release the batch for sale. That's why documentation part is very important. Documents designed, prepared, reviewed and controlled must comply with these rules. Documents must be approved, signed and dated by appropriate and authorized persons. So there are persons authorized for the documentation. So all the documents must be signed by authorized persons to avoid any error. Now come to our next slide. Documents must specify the title, nature and purpose. Documents must be regularly reviewed and kept up to date. Any alteration made in the entry of a document must be signed and dated. So documents what contain the title, nature and purpose. It should be properly written on the document, so that the person that do not require that document must not open the document. So the title must be specified on the top page of the document. The records must be made or completed at the time of each operation in such a way that all significant activities concerning to the manufacture of pharmaceutical products are traceable. So whenever we are performing any operation, we must complete that document at that time. We just not left the document that we think that firstly we will complete our work, then after that when we have time, then we will complete our document. We should not do this. We should complete our document whenever we are performing our operation, so that so that the head and authorized person can see what steps are going in manufacture. Next point is whether documentation is handled by electronic data processing methods. Authorized persons shall enter or modify data in the computer, and whether there is a modification, there must be record of these changes and deletions. Access must be restricted by passwords or other means, and result of entry of critical data must be independently checked. Batch records electronically stored must be protected by a suitable backup. So whatever data we have stored electronically, we must take a backup at regular intervals, because they at some time the computer stop working. and the computer data may be removed, so we must take a backup at regular interval from our computer where this electronic data is maintained. Now come to the last topic of GMP requirements, that is quality assurance. So what is quality assurance? Quality assurance is the totality of the arrangements made with the object of ensuring that products are of the quality required for their intended use. So basically, quality assurance ensures the quality of product as the name suggests, and the system of quality assurance appropriate to the manufacture of pharmaceutical products should ensure that the pharmaceutical products are designed and developed in a way that takes account of the requirements of GMP and other associated codes such as GLP, good laboratory practices, and GCP, good clinical practices. What is good laboratory practices? Good laboratory practice regulates the process and conditions under which research is conducted. GLP governs how these research facilities should be maintained. Wide-ranging concept concerning all matters that individually or collectively influence the quality of product. Good clinical practices are dictated by ICH, that is International Conference on Harmonization, and the ICH GCP governs the ethical and scientific quality of clinical trials. It covers things such as study design, methodology, and data reporting related to clinical trials. And as you all know, what is GMP? GMP regulates the design, monitoring, and control of manufacturing processes. GMP ensures the identity, strength, quality, and purity of drug products. So the quality assurance system must ensure that the products are designed according to requirements of GMP, GCP, and GLP. Now come to our next slide. Adequate arrangements are made for the manufacture, supply, and use of correct starting and packaging materials. Adequate controls on starting materials, intermediate products, and bulk products. Calibrations and validations are carried out. The finished product is correctly processed and checked in accordance with established procedures, and the pharmaceutical products are not released for sale or supplied before authorized persons have certified the products. So this is the role of quality assurance. What are the roles of quality assurance? That quality assurance must ensure that the products are designed and developed according to the requirements of GMP, GLP, and GCP, and it should also ensure that adequate arrangements are there for manufacture of, supply, and use of correct starting and packaging materials. It must ensure adequate controls on starting materials and bulk products, and it also ensure controls on calibrations and validations. It should ensure that finished product is correctly processed and checked in accordance with established procedures, and each production batch has been produced and controlled in accordance with the requirements of the label claim and any other provisions relevant to production, control and release of pharmaceutical products. So let us revise quickly what we have seen in this presentation. Firstly, we have discussed about manufacturing operations and control, that all manufacturing operations, manufacturing process must be carried out under the supervision of technical staff. Next, we have discussed about that to prevent mix-up during production stages, all the apparatus, equipment must be conspicuously labeled so that everybody in the lab can determine the status of that equipment. After that, we have discussed about that the correct details of any printing done separately or in the course of packaging must be rechecked at regular intervals, and that all printing and overprinting must be authorized in writing. After that, we have discussed about the sanitation in the manufacturing premises, that a validated cleaning procedure must be maintained, and the manufacturing area should not be used for storage of materials except for the material that is being processed, and the manufacturing area must be free from accumulated waste, dust, debris and any other similar material. Then a proper sanitation program must be drawn, and the sanitation program must indicate about the specific areas to be cleaned, cleaning intervals, cleaning procedure to be followed, the personnel assigned for sanitation, and there must be adequate space that permit the logical positioning of equipment and materials, so that the risk of contamination and wrong application of any of the manufacturing or control steps can be avoided. Then we have discussed about the raw materials, that the records of all raw materials must be maintained as per Schedule U, and there must be a principle is followed, that is first in, first expiry, first out principle, and all materials must be quarantined after receipt or processing, and the consignment must be checked to ensure that the consignment corresponds to the order placed. After that, we have discussed that the authorized person appointed, which may be a person from quality control department, must examine each consignment, and they must identify the damaged container, and the record should be maintained for the same. After that, we have discussed that there must be adequate separate areas for materials under test, approved and rejected. Containers from which the samples have been drawn must be identified, and it must be ensured that all containers of raw materials are placed on raised platforms and racks and not directly on the floor. After that, we have discussed about the equipment, that each equipment must be provided with a logbook, and balances and other measuring equipment must be available in the raw material store, production and in process control operations, and these balances and measuring equipment must be calibrated and checked on a scheduled basis. After that, we have discussed about documentation and records, that documentation designed, prepared, reviewed, and controlled must comply with the GMP rules. Document must be approved, signed, and dated by appropriate and authorized persons. Also, we have discussed about that what is the aim of documentation. The aim is to define the specification for all materials, method of manufacture and control, and to ensure that all person concerned with manufacture know the information necessary to decide whether or not to release a batch of a drug for sale. And lastly, we have discussed about quality assurance, which is very important part of GMP. And the quality assurance must ensure that the pharmaceutical products are not released for sale or supplied before authorized persons have certified the products. So, thank you all for your attention.